Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to yet another episode of Take 2 on Soundstage, and I'm your host, Jay Lee. So in this video, I'm going to take a product that has already been reviewed by a Soundstage reviewer and put it into my system and see how I like it. In this case, the Atoll IN200 Signature. Now, if you want to read the full entire review, which I've done because it's an excellent read, do visit soundstagehifi.com, or you can click on the link description below. It was written by Dan Kong on June 1st, 2022. And it's really well written, and he goes into some comparisons, which I won't be able to do in this video just because of the length. I'll more speak to how I liked it, what I didn't like about it, and so on. But do read the review in the link description below. Now, the Atoll IN200 is not a unit that's cheap. It's about 2,800 USD. And that is quite a bit of money to spend on an integrated amplifier. Now, the capability of this unit is a preamplifier and amplifier. Now, integrated amplifier is often exchanged depending on what the capability of the unit is, but this is a preamplifier and amplifier. Now, it does not have an XLR or balanced input capability, only has RCA, but it has a lot of RCA, way more than I would ever use. Now, I did mostly use the CD input with my CD and then the aux input with my streamer system, and I really liked the sound of the Atoll. Now, Atoll is a brand that I reviewed way back. It's a French brand, and IN200 is the one that I reviewed and owned a while back. And now that was the entry level, and I was so impressed with the entry level that I always wanted to hear the upper ranges, because the entry level, the IN200, just sounded incredible for the money. Now, this unit is heavy. Now, it may not look like it, but it has a very large toroidal transformer inside. It has a German-made 340 VA toroidal transformers and a 8 6800 UF filter capacitors. And the analog section uses high-quality Mundorf capacitors. And all this outputs 120 watts per channel into 8 ohms or 200 watts into 4 ohms. And as you can see in the back, I've been using it with a variety of speakers, but especially the Q acoustic speakers. And this is the newest one they have. And I really like this speaker, and it sounds really, really good with the Atoll. And if I remember Atoll IN200, the IN200 was a little bit more top frequency heavy, meaning it was a lot of detail on the top end for a unit like that, but it had really great finesse and body to the sound, which made everything sound more balanced than traditional units in that price category. Now, coming back to the $2,800 unit that we have here, that is the IN200 Signature, now you're getting much more finesse and body to the sound. Now, the comparison that I'm going to compare to, because again, it's not price range, but what I'm using, I've been using the Hagel $19,000 H30A. This is a new Hagel amplifier, and again, it's $19,000. And comparing it going from that to my IN200 SC, there is a lot more in common than different. The IN200 is extremely well made and delivers power with finesse and effortlessly. It drove my Q acoustics among many other speakers that I have in here with such authority and body to the sound in the mid-range, and most importantly, the depth and sound staging is incredibly great because of the quality components used in this unit. So first thing that I noticed with this unit is not only that it's more balanced than the more budget-friendly IN200, but it's more detailed, more nuanced, and the lower frequency extension is much improved, meaning you get much more rumble. And in my room, with the Atoll, with the Q acoustics, you get down to 30 hertz in my room without a problem. And its effortless delivery is great for many different types of music, including jazz, rock, even metal. And I played some heavy metal as well, and it didn't seem beaming at me or really screaming at me. But there was a little bit of finesse on the top end, which if you like detail, if you like a little bit of air on the top end, then this is a great unit to have. Now, when it comes to the overall sound signature, it kind of reminds me of Name Gear. Now, if you heard Name Gear, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very contrasty, and that's the first thing that comes to mind when I look at Atoll or Name. It's very contrasty, and that's why a lot of pianists that I've encountered in the past, or any person that plays really a lot of instruments, they really prefer the Name Gear because of the ability to create piano. And if you heard it before, piano is one of those instruments that's really hard to recreate realistically in your system. Well, Atoll and Name, those are the two that really does that. And that's why a lot of musicians love it. Now, I've had in the past encounters of musicians that had Atoll systems, just a full rack of them, and I asked why, and they said, well, because it's the only one that would create piano realistically. But really listening to the IN200 SC in my system with the Q acoustic, going back from Hagel, which is a $19,000 amplifier again, and back and forth, the biggest thing I noticed is the Atoll's contrast between the mid-ranges, the instrument, the separation, the blackness in between, and really being able to really deliver that piano and guitar and any really instruments that has impact in the sound. It does not only allow for notes to come through, but the actual body, the body of the instrument. And that is kind of hard to explain because it really hits in a different way. And of course, your speakers have to be capable of it as well, and the Q acoustic is. And this is really why it's a really good match with the Q acoustic, or even something like the Picard S400 Mark II, or speakers that have that contrastiness to begin with, and added to the Atoll or name is really allowing that contrast to shine, allowing that piano to really have weight rather than just being a, ding note. And again, the soundstage and depth is really high end. It really allows me to hear my music really, really well. Now, given that my room is treated, of course, but again, it gives you depth and soundstage if your speakers are capable and if your room has the room to recreate that space around you. Now, another thing that I have to note that I really didn't like about the unit is the binding post. We've seen inside uses high quality parts, but on the binding post itself, it feels a little bit cheap, and also it is spaced out too close. So I really don't like that, because if you're using a banana cable, it's no problem, but I was using space myself, and if it were to fall out, it would short pretty easily, and the spacing, it was just a little bit too narrow for my liking. So I wish it was spaced out a little bit more and a little bit more of a high quality binding post. But again, that is a little bit of a, just a design choice, I suppose, because the unit is slim. But other than that, I don't really have much to go on in terms of, the caveats, because this unit is just exceptional in terms of music production alone. It's very musical sounding, and it is very audiophile in terms of how it retrieves detail without any problem, or the effortlessness of the overall sound is very musical to me. So this unit is exceptional. I would say it goes on my top list with name in terms of how it recreates that musical instrument's weight and body to the sound. And I really don't have any complaints. So that's pretty much it. If this video was helpful to you, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the Soundstage channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.